this is in Japanese. It says Nana Korobi Ya Oki. So some of the slides will be in Chinese, some in Japanese, most of it in English, of course. But some, I borrow things that I've learned over the years from different cultures, from India, and apply them to this assignment, but also to life. And it says, Nana, excuse me, Nana Korobi Ya Oki means fall 7 times, get up 8. That means like, no matter what happens to you, get up, do it again, right? Some people say that if you fail, try again, because the second time around, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. So your next attempt will be better than your first attempt. It says, if you fall down 100 times, is that 100 traumas or is that 100 lessons? And to be honest with you, it's both. You know, it'll be 100 traumas, but it'll also be 100 lessons. And each trauma and each lesson will improve your ability to perform better in the next round. Okay. And then it asks, you must learn the lesson, or you will have to repeat it until you learn it. Okay, it's missing an it here. Let's say it. Until you learn it. And this is true. You know, you have to hopefully learn the lesson the first time around. Otherwise, you'll have to repeat it until you learn it. Example of that is that Dr. Nassar, who is currently in prison, he was convicted 3 times of pedophilia. So apparently he never learned his lesson. And as a consequence, he was tried and convicted 3 times, and his fate was given a sentence of 360 years in prison. Good luck, amigo. His life is over. Yeah, he's gonna die in prison. And as you mentioned earlier, men in prison are not particularly fond of pedophiles. In fact, from my readings, men in prison detest pedophiles. They detest them. And so I think there's a possibility that, and a good number of pedophiles have been murdered in prison. So I think there's a possibility that Dr. Nassar may end up murdered in prison. So just so you know. Okay, let's see. I want to go to desktop. Let's see, it's doing something here. There's desktop, and today's the 14th. I'm always trying to improve this assignment to make it better and better for you guys. Okay. Okie dokie. So the last sentence in the slides reads or asks, wisdom is not knowing what to do, but rather knowing what not to do. Because people are oftentimes think that the wisdom is knowing like what to do, which is kind of true. I think it is true. Like in your case, you knew, I think you were wise enough to come to the United States and to California. To me, that's a kind of wisdom. I have a little recruiting company, and I've gone to a few countries to recruit people, and most people, they can't see it. Like I tell them, look, you need to get out of this country where like the streets are full of potholes and the sidewalks are cracked, and sometimes the electricity goes out, and sometimes the water doesn't come out of the tap. You need to get out of this country and go to the United States or California. And they're like, why? What for? So I think wisdom is probably knowing what to do, but more importantly, maybe wisdom is knowing what not to do. Right? That's even more important, I think. And both are important. Knowing what to do is important, but also you need to know what not to do. Right? And as I mentioned earlier, one of my students from Ukraine many years ago, she told the class, I don't want to do anything that's illegal. That's good advice. That's good advice. Okay. Let's keep going.